This is the Actual Fluency Podcast, helping you become a better language learner by providing motivating weekly inspiration, as well as top tips and tricks from expert guests. And now, your host, Chris Broholm.
Hey everyone, it's Chris here. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Actual Fluency Podcast. Whether you're a long-term listener or a new listener, welcome to the show. And for the new listeners out there, this is my weekly language learning podcast where I interview top performers, top polyglots, language learners from all around the world. But not only that, I also interview industry professionals, memory experts, all around motivational experts. I mean, I interview anyone who could motivate and inspire you to become a better language learner. So whether you're learning the 10th or the second language, I hope you will find this content interesting. And today's guest is Wouter from the Netherlands, and I butchered that name completely. And I also butchered his last name in the introduction, but don't worry about that. I have no shame about names anymore after doing, 85 episodes or something like that. And Wouter is interesting because he's putting up these videos on YouTube about him using his languages, and he's using 18 different languages, which is pretty cool. And he's an artist drawing caricatures or nature portraits, stuff like that, and so he has an opportunity to speak with a lot of tourists, and that's I found that really motivating that he sort of just jumps at people and speaks to them in this, and he admits, I'm not an expert in any of these languages. I can speak, I think he says 6 of them well, and then the 12 others are a very beginner A1 level, and I'm just so sort of jealous in a way that he can just go out and do that. For me, as some of you know me as pretty shy, introverted, scared about speaking foreign languages. I was really excited to talk to Wouter about his thoughts on developing confidence in a way. And along the interview, I realized that it's a bit stupid that I don't take the opportunities more. And I hope some of you guys get that feeling out of the interview as well, because at the end of the day, the only way to get better at a language is to practice it. You can learn more vocabulary, you can learn more words, but languages have to be spoken. You have to use them to actually incorporate all the ideas into your mind. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And just a reminder, the Actual Fluency Podcast does have a Patreon page. So if you really love the show, then you can donate a few dollars every month if you want at actualfluency.com/support. And it really means a lot to me. And on the Patreon page, I try to put out funny clips and behind the scenes. I also put out a second podcast called Chris Thinks, where I post my comments about language learning topics or general reactions. And, it's not about the extra content. I think you should want to support the podcast in general and believe that what I'm doing every week here is actually valuable. I don't think you should support it just to get these extra bonuses. These are kind of just, extras. It's kind of like you're buying a DVD movie. You buy it for the movie, but the extras are kind of cool too. So go check it out at actualfluency.com/support if you like what I'm doing. And if you don't like what I'm doing, send me an email. What do you want to see changed? Chris@actualfluency.com. Love to hear from you to make the show better. But anyway, on to this week's episode, Learner Profiles 5 with Wouter. All right, everyone, we're back with another episode of the Actual Fluency Podcast and a new episode in the Learner Profile series. And today we're going to take a look at the polyglot life of Wouter Corduwener, who is from the Netherlands. And he's recently had great success on YouTube with a video showing him speaking 18 languages with the tourists. So, Wouter, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine, but you didn't pronounce my name right. It's
no.
Corduwener. It's really hard, I know it. So.
Oh God, I have lots of trouble with names on the show, so maybe I should start asking the people to introduce themselves. Can you say it again?
It's okay. Like even at the Dutch news, they couldn't pronounce my name, so.
That's why I got it. That's why I got it. To be fair, that's why I got it. I watched the news clip. I was like, that's pretty easy to pronounce, and I guess it was all wrong. But anyway, this is why I love the show. It's not censored, it's not cut or anything. It's real life. If I met you in real life, I would have said exactly the same. So thank you for that. But some people might not have heard about you. Can you give a little background? Just how did you get into learning languages? Go as far back as you need to, and how did this hobby start for you?
I think I started at 23, 22, 23, and I was working a while at the Hans. That's a village in Holland where you have a lot of windmills. And I'm selling there my drawings, and I'm making caricatures, stuff like that. And there are many tourists there who were really enjoying the place and want to see the windmills. And there I just started by starting with phrases in Mandarin. Mandarin was my first language, and I already knew Dutch, English, German, and French. German and French at school. And yeah, when I was learning the phrases, I saw that people were really laughing and they liked it when they heard the language. And I was just going further by learning phrases. So every day I learned 3 phrases in Mandarin. And then after a year, I was able to have like really basic conversations with people. And I started with other languages too, with Hebrew, with Thai, and I was also going to Thailand, so I could practice with Thai too when I was there. And yeah, later I was just starting with a YouTube video with the 18 languages when I learned enough languages to think, hey, let's start with a video. And I was really surprised that it was a viral video, because I just did it for fun, and I knew that I was not really good in each language and that many of them were really basic. So I was not aiming for a viral video. But after that, I realized maybe it was going viral because it's yeah, maybe different from other language videos. And yeah, it's a collection of episodes and experiences which I have with tourists, and you really feel the interaction I had with people and the jokes which I made with people, and that people were laughing. So I think that's maybe a nice element of the success of the video. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's people really light up when they hear their native language, particularly if it's they're really far away from Asia, and they hear Korean or Mandarin in the Dutch countryside. I guess people get very happy and reminded of home. I guess.
And so don't take me wrong, I'm not saying that webcam videos of speaking languages are less or something, but I think maybe in my case, because I'm not really good in all those languages, it was a nice part for the video to practice it with tourists and to have the interaction.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. There's something to be said about webcam videos, and I've seen a lot of them lately where people say Russian girl speaks 8 languages, or whatever, speaks 20 languages or 30 or 50 or whatever, and it's just not real. It's not real because, first of all, it's rehearsed. It's like a script basically, and
Yeah.
most of the time, or if it's not a script, then people just speak the first sentence they've learned, like my name is or whatever, or I started learning this language because
They're reading from a wall, something like that.
yeah, exactly. And even though your method is kind of similar to that, where you start by learning the phrases, it's so different to speak to a native speaker in the real life than it is to speak into a webcam with no one watching you. Yeah, they'll watch you later, but they're not looking at you right now, expecting you to be understood. So that's why I love the videos, and I told you I really enjoyed them because it's real life in a way, and I'm so jealous that you can just kind of jump at people and just start speaking, even if you're not at a very good level in some of the languages, you run up to them and you say those few sentences. So what do you think is different from you and most people, where they're probably halted by fear or they want to be perfect or something? What do you think about this?
I think many people are, like shy, or they are afraid to use the languages, and that's the reason why they're not developing themselves. And as I said, I'm saying it about myself. In many of my languages, I have a beginner level, and I just started. But to get better, you need to start somewhere, right? And you need to you need to handle it with people who are criticizing you, and when they're just saying that you're bad in a language or something like that, you could just ignore it, you know, only use advice which is useful. But I think some people are too afraid to make mistakes because they have a beginner level and they're just skipping to English. And that's the reason why they're not developing the language. So really, really, really slow. I'm still developing my languages because I'm just using it, and I take advice from people. I use what I can use. And I also think one of the most important stuff of speaking languages is the interaction with people and the motivation, that, you know, why am I learning the language? Why do I want it? And for me personally, it's the connection with people.
So what does that mean to you, the connection? Is it because you obviously most of these people are tourists, you won't see them again. So when somebody walks by you and you see that they're probably from Korea or China or something, what is that personal connection that you really enjoy about that process?
Yeah, it's like, I'm sure that how do you say it? Like, the people who are passing me and who are, and when I'm speaking the native language with them, they're appreciating it a lot, and they're probably trusting me more or feeling more comfortable. I even had one time that someone was crying because he was saying like, I don't speak English. It was a Chinese guy, and he had to cry because he couldn't speak for 3 months the language with someone. So yeah, I think
Oh, wow.
that's a little bit what I mean, like the emotional part of yeah, being at the same level with one, feeling like you're brothers. That's one of the most beautiful things for me.
Right. It's life-changing in a way.
Yeah. It's really cool. Like, I also had one time that I was speaking 5 languages to someone. I first thought she was Thai, so I spoke Thai, but she didn't understood me. Then I was speaking Chinese, she didn't understood me. Japanese, Korean, and after that I heard that she was deaf. So
Oh, so you need to bring out your sign language.
maybe Benny Lewis is already speaking it, or
Yeah, but the problem is there's so many sign languages.
yeah, I
So,
know. You
I
even
don't.
know Thai sign language. I heard
Yeah,
too.
it's
So
crazy.
yeah,
It makes sense in a way. It's just interesting that it developed that way because you you'd think that signs for things would be universal, but yeah, there you go. I mean, it's part of the reason I haven't gotten into sign language, because I find it really cool. But as somebody living in Europe, it's really hard to find out which sign language to actually learn, because it's not going to matter unless you run into that particular nationality. So I don't know, maybe just learn ASL. A lot of people say then that's a good place to start. But anyway, yeah. So I really love the video, and for me, who's struggling with even speaking, foreign languages to people in shops and stuff like that, where it's usually simple. It's really motivating to see that you just sort of run around and you just no fear, and you just go at it. So I hope that other people check it out. And just for a reminder that people can find your channel and the links and everything we talk about in this episode, they can find it on actualfluency.com/316. So it's season 3, episode 16. And I'll link up everything there, including this video that we're talking about. And you also on the news. That must have been an interesting experience.
yeah, it was cool too. I was on the news like I think 2 weeks after my last video. I had contact with the redaction of the program, and I was on the news. I really liked it, and yeah, 3 months later I was on the news again. So yeah, I hope I can have more stuff like that, and that I maybe have the opportunity to Skype with some other YouTubers who we're speaking a lot of languages. A
Yeah.
good polyglot, which I really like, is Vladimir. Do you know him, or?
Yes, Kulteti.
Yeah. I couldn't pronounce his second name, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's
he's
a good example. Like, he has webcam videos too, but they're really powerful, really clear. The light is really well, and he is speaking the languages at a really high level. So it doesn't matter what he's doing. Even when he's sitting on the toilet speaking those languages, people will watch it. I mean, he's a good inspiration for other people who are learning languages, and I also recommend to watch his channel if you're watching this video. So
Yeah, he's really talented, Vladimir. He
Yeah,
was also on
really well. Yeah.
he was also on this podcast some time ago. I forget which episode, but I think it was season 2. If I don't, yeah, it was season 2. You can check
Really
out
cool.
my talk with Vladimir. He's very inspirational, and I was in New York for the Polyglot conference, and he did a talk on his story, how
Hmm.
he got to somewhere like 19 languages, and it's incredible. Just the, like you said, the quality in each of his languages is just incredible. Like I don't think I've seen that
His
almost.
tips are really well too. So yeah,
Yeah,
like in this case, it really works when you have yeah, how do you say it? Like a really clear video. If he's moving and running around and giving the tips, people will not understand it. So, but yeah,
right.
like
Well,
it's
you want it to be more instructional. You need less
yeah,
distractions, I guess. And then some of the newer videos that you started to produce is slightly controversial, I guess. Where you get a few beers or quite a lot of beers, and you go out and you practice languages. So
I was
tell.
really afraid to lose subscribers because of these videos, because people were not taking me serious. All right, first I'm drinking beers, and the next day I'm giving language tips with a hangover. All right, but I just made this video to show, um, like how do you say it, that nothing what I'm doing is staged or something. You know, it's
Yeah,
just in real life. I'm going out with a friend. He takes my camera and he's making some videos, and it's just how it is. You know, and it's really close to myself.
right.
And that's the most easy way to learn languages. If you're just enjoying the moments, having your daily life, and just use the languages. And if it's a part of your daily time, then it's also not hard to learn it, and it's going automatically. And you're in a kind of network every day with people with other languages. I think it's the most easy way. And when I produced the video, I got many comments like from people who were drunk too, and who were saying to me like, "All right, when I'm drunk, I speak these languages better than the other ones." And yeah, it was really cool to hear those stories.
It's a
So
controversial topic also because some people say that they speak foreign languages better when they're drunk. Do you get the same, or is it the same for you?
I'm already yeah talking about bullshit when I'm sober. So but
well,
when I'm drunk, it's maybe a bit more.
well, I'm just
Uh,
thinking like because they say that alcohol, one of the effects of alcohol is that you kind of lose sort of these what can you call it? The fear that you had before. You usually don't care much when you're drunk. So I'm thinking if you already don't care when you're sober, you just run up to people and talk,
yeah,
then alcohol is probably not going to do much for you. But if I go to the pub and I drink a few pints of beer, I can tell you that it's easier for me to at least speak. I don't know if my language is better. It's probably not, but at least my fear is less. So I guess that's the biggest effect for me. But if some people feel they actually speak better, that would be very interesting.
you're losing fear, but you're also losing brain cells. I'm
Right?
not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
sure about that. Like that would be a really cool video, like researching if you're losing brain cells or getting more brain cells when you're practicing
right.
your languages. Are you getting more clever because you're practicing it, or are you
Right.
losing the information? That would be
Yeah, that's a
an
good.
interesting research. I don't know.
I would love to see if I would love to talk to people who say that they speak a language better when they're drunk, like actual ability in the language, not necessarily just speaking it, but ability in the language, because that would be interesting. I cannot imagine that to be true. The only thing I can imagine is that it's easier for them to speak it in the first place, because
Yeah,
these alcohol removes some of these inhibitions we have to do something that scares us, basically, in a nutshell. But I think it's funny that you did it because it's like it is definitely real life, whereas YouTube a lot of the time can be kind of a fake reality in a way. It's like a fairy tale. It's created, it's edited and stuff, and you're really out there in the streets of was it Amsterdam you were out in, or?
I was in Amsterdam, and yeah, I also drank 10 beers today. So, do you recognize that I'm drunk now, or you can see the difference?
No, I can't see the difference. Does that help you with the language learning in general, or?
I hope you know that I'm not serious, but yeah. I'm sober. So I know it's more like when I go out with friends, there's a really nice ambience, and you also need a nice or funny people. And yeah, like when I'm in this atmosphere, it's really easier to speak it, and also funnier.
Do
And
you right? Do you ever hesitate to speak a language to someone, or do you just always go for it?
I always, when I see a Chinese or a Korean, I just start talking.
Right. That's so interesting. That's so interesting. Have you always have you always been like that?
I think I was shy first. I was more shy, but because of my job, I changed a lot because every day I'm meeting a lot of tourists, a lot of people. So the circumstances of my job kind of changed me a little bit. Like people who know me from before at the high school, they know me as a shy guy. I think when they see the videos now, they will not recognize me. But I think
Right.
the circumstances changed me, and then after that, the languages changed me. And I also think it's also easier to say something in a foreign language than in your own language. How stranger the language is, how easier it is to say it. For example, it's hard to say I love you in your own language to someone, but if you say it in English, it's already easier.
Right.
I mean, in my case, I'm Dutch, that's my native tongue. It's harder to say than I love you to someone.
Yeah, I totally agree because you have a deeper emotional connection to your native language because it's your first, and therefore when you or you might not even. Oops, I just made a little mistake here. Or when you or for instance, what would I lost it? I lost the thread.
Are you
Tired.
drunk?
Yeah, I'm drunk. I need some more beer.
We
But
can
we're
drink
talking
beer
about
together.
the emotional connection. So we're talking about the emotional connection, and what I think is that when you learn sentences in, let's say, something really obscure as Mandarin, then you don't really know what it means in your brain. You just kind of you know the meaning, but you don't know the emotional underlying that. Does that cover it? Is what I want to say, because that's why you can just swear away in a foreign language, because there's no emotional connection, or it's not as strong as with your native language anyway.
Yeah,
So that's a good
I think
point.
that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. And like, isn't that the same with women? For example, when you go to a bars and you like a woman and uh, you drunk some beers, it's easier to approach her, right? In general.
It's true. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
I have a girlfriend now, so but I mean in the past, yeah, like when I drank a couple of beers, then it was easier. I think it's the same with languages. It helps you with losing fear,
Yeah.
and many of my videos are about losing fear. So that's why I also made the video with learning 1,000 words in 5 languages in 5 minutes. I will make more episodes about it. I Most of the comments were really positive, but there were also some comments that people were saying like that I'm clickbaiting too much, you know. But I think for those people who said it, I understand their comment, but the video is not like it's not a thumb rule. It's like it's not a video which you can use for 100%. You just have to explore by yourself and to look at the words which you can use, and yeah, like the false friends and stuff like that, you will find it out later. But if you're just using the words by trial and error, holding on this rule, and you're just saying it like this way, then you already have a little bit like more like nicer sentences and it sounds more intelligent. So yeah, you're kind of passing the basic level when you just try it.
Right.
If
Prices.
you make mistakes, yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, that's how you get better. So
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of getting better, how are you? Because you started a lot of languages, and obviously because of so many different nationalities walk by you at your work. How do you? What's your plan for improving the languages? Are you doing anything outside of just using them all the time, or do you have some courses or some books, or do you
that's what,
plan?
yeah, good question. I think I didn't even thought about that in my previous videos. Yeah, like what I do is I'm looking a lot at the internet. I'm going to YouTube channels. I'm going to research words, and I'm also looking at the 50 most important words, which we have, the most important verbs, and I'm looking at everything, the past tense, the future, and using those words this way. And for the rest, I'm just Skyping with people, like also other YouTubers who also speak more languages. It's a kind of gaming. So I don't have a PlayStation, but I'm just Skyping with people. A bit nerdy, but it works. And I also have books where I find out stuff. If I don't know something, I write it down and I try to research it. So that's a little bit like my language learning strategy.
That's cool. That's
And
very
I'm maintaining all of them. So every week I'm speaking all those languages which I know, and then you're getting a little bit better each week. And after a year, you will see the progress. So
That's really impressive. So how many language do you have a count on how many languages you're working on every week, or?
yeah, like I'm just learning the same 18 languages of the first video. I don't learn new languages. So each 2 or 3 months, I'm trying to learn another language and trying to improve. So if I have an A1 level, I try to reach A2. If I have an A2 level, I try to reach the B1 level in 2 months. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's a lot of languages to work on. It's funny,
yeah,
you remind me a bit of Ellen Joven, actually. She might be listening to the show. She has kind of the same idea where she has a 3 month period, and I don't remember if she did one or two languages, but she definitely did the similar thing with, okay, these are my focus languages, and I'm going to improve in those. And then after the time, she actually just went to something else. So
yeah,
you get that very sort of spread out improvement, but it's a consistent, and it's a lot of fun because you don't have to, let's say, do Russian for 12 months or German verbs, or you kind of, it's new all the time because, oh, I'm bored with Korean, I'm just going to go over to Mandarin, or just thinking, is part of your strategy to learn a lot of languages so it's always interesting? Is that part of the thought process, or is it just I and how did you settle on 18, by the way? If somebody comes by and it's like from Malta or something, how do you resist the temptation to add Maltese to it?
I didn't learn Maltese, so
No, but I mean, if you have your 18 languages that you say you want to improve, then somebody from Malta comes by and you want to speak to that person, you're like, oh God, I need to learn Maltese. How do you resist not adding more languages to your 18?
yeah, like that's something what I learned later after what I posted the first video. I realized that it's not good to learn too many languages, so I was thinking about not to do it.
So you sell that 18. 18 is not too
Yeah,
many.
I stopped with it. Now, in the next coming 5 years, I'm only improving the other languages,
Right.
including my mother tongue.
Of
But
course, can always improve all our
yeah,
languages.
yeah, so that's a little bit like my problem with my first video. Of course, it was going viral, people liked it, and it was the start of my YouTube channel. But after I realized that I want to make better videos, I want to learn each language better on a higher level. So that's how I can say to myself now, all right, I'm not learning this other language.
No more.
Someone is speaking Maltese and I don't speak it. All right.
Too bad. Too
Yeah.
bad.
I,
That's a
I
good.
also
I think
feel a little bit sad sometimes if I don't speak one language and people are disappointed when I speak all these other languages. And they're asking me like why you're not learning my language.
yeah.
And yeah, so that's a little bit the problem. That's why I first was really distracted to learn all those languages at the same time. But yeah, you're getting crazy about it. It's
Yeah.
not motivating when you're learning too many languages. So now I just have each 2 months improving another language and maintaining the other six now. Like I think I speak now 6 languages on a B1 level or better, and the other 12 are on A1 or A2 level. So
Okay. So you work on improving. one, and then
I'm
you.
working on, yeah.
Okay, that's good because it sounded a bit like you were working on improving 18 languages at once. So
No, not at
that's
once. Each two
okay.
months, I'm picking the other one, and I'm only maintaining all the other ones. So by speaking it, practicing it, making new videos,
Oh, right. Okay, I
and
see. So you're
it's
working
just
like in
it's
the
just a
books.
process. I also want people to see me making mistakes. I don't want to be perfect. I don't want to be really good, because I think it's more important to show how bad I am than how good I am, because that's the most important thing, that you're starting when you're bad, and that you're not afraid to use it. And I think some people don't understand that.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think that's a big problem. Yeah, like I
You
said for
don't need to
myself,
show off. I mean, why should I make a video to show how good I am? Why? I mean,
it doesn't do anything. Yeah. I totally understand. So what kind of tips could you give someone like me? I don't know if it's just something that I don't know if it's just part of the personality, or if there's anything you can do, but if I know a lot of people connect to the idea of I'm scared of using the foreign language, even if they're really good at it, they're scared of using it. So what kind of advice or tips do you think could you give to people like that? Also includes me.
um, what kind of tips? I don't know you that well, so I don't know which tips you already use. But I think one of the best tips is to listen to other tips. Right? It sounds weird, but that's what I do too. Like a really good tip I heard from Vladimir was to look at other YouTube channels, to browse, and to listen to the conversations, and to listen really clearly. And he says something that about the idea that when you're going to vloggers which are talking about themselves, that you will learn other stuff than when you're in a classroom learning verbs, stuff like that. So it's really close to the reality. So I think that's a really good tip. A
Right.
good tip which I use from the beginning is using Facebook, and to record your own voice, and to practice with a native speaker. Ask him or her to say it correctly with the audio recorder, and then try to repeat it as many times until it's close enough to the same audio file. I
Right.
think
It's a
that's a
bit
good
like
tip.
a language exchange in a way.
Yeah, yeah. And another tip is um, to be close to yourself, close to the daily life. So, for example, when you're gaming every day with your headset, you can do a game with some Danish people or Chinese people,
Yeah.
and you can say, all right, let's shoot that guy in Chinese. When you have a strategy, you talk about it in this language. And yeah, then it's really close to your daily life.
Right. And how about then take transferring it to, let's say I had to go to the streets of Budapest and had to practice all my languages. I would be terrified. So what can I do to be less terrified? Except drinking beer, of course, which I will do, but you know, apart from that.
Um, I'm thinking. I think it's the best to just make friends, like in another way. Like when you're there, you live in Budapest or
Yeah.
you live there. What are you doing in your daily life?
Well, I work from home. Yeah,
Are
I
you
work.
sporting, or do you have any spots where you go to parks or whatever, stuff like
Uh,
that?
Not really. I guess Starbucks and stuff like that. That's about it. Cafes, restaurants. Go out with friends to bars and stuff. That's about it.
If you try to practice Hungarian all the time when you have the opportunity to practice it, then
Yeah, I
you're
try,
really
but then I get scared of
you
making
get scared.
mistakes, and I just switch to English because it's easier, you know?
Yeah. Why you cannot say to yourself every time that I'm speaking English, I don't have the opportunity to whatever, drink a beer or something, when you're going out, or why you're not saying to yourself, I don't have the possibility to speak English. Forget that you're speaking English all these times, and just
Ignore
speak
it.
Hungarian to survive.
Right. Yeah,
And
that
when
would
they're
be
speaking English to you, you can say in Hungarian that you want to speak Hungarian.
right.
If
Or
you don't
that
understand something in Hungarian, try to ask if they can point it out with a different way, you know.
Right.
And that's also a trick for me. If you don't know something, if you cannot answer the way how you want to answer, try to say it on a different way. That's what I do too. So even when it's not the right answer which I wanted to give, then I'm already still speaking the same language.
Right. Just keep speaking, and if you don't understand something, ask them to say it in a different way.
Yeah,
And if you still don't understand, what do you do?
just keep going. Just keep
Move on.
going. I mean, there's always a way to explain it another way. If you don't know the meaning of sun, I mean the sun in the sky, then you can say it's something what's really warm, or you can say it's something which has this distance from Earth, or it's a star, or whatever. You know, you can try to ask it, even when it takes 5 times. It really make you confident that you're still speaking the same language. And when
It's
you're more
really nice.
confident, then you will speak it after more and more and more.
Right. You think doing these kind of activities will make you more confident in general?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It's turned into a bit of a therapy session here, which I hope other people
right.
can relate to this problem that I'm having. But I'm glad for I really appreciate the tips, and
But my
you know,
YouTube channel is a little bit about losing fear while speaking languages. My channel is about that. I want to make videos to show how easy it is, and I even have one video that I'm speaking languages while I'm peeing next to others.
I've
What I'm
seen
showing,
that.
what I'm showing with this video is that most people feel connected with you, or they feel really proud about their language, or they're happy, they feel really comfortable. And even when their culture is different or their language,
Yeah.
even while being next to them is not a problem when I speak it. So
The good
why should people dislike you if you just practice it on the streets or in a park? Or
the good thing, I guess, about doing it in the toilet is that they can't run away. So if you say something, they're always going to be there. They can't just flee from the scene. But I really enjoyed that video too, and again, it really for me underlines just the kind of, you really don't care. You just want to practice those languages. You don't care about what kind of situation people are in, or what time it is, where it is, or who they are. They could be from China, they could be from Germany. It doesn't matter. And I really think that's cool, and something that we can all learn from, that kind of just do it attitude.
it's the same with, like, I'm comparing it all the time, but it's the same with women. Like,
Sure.
if you feel that a girl doesn't like it to have your attention or to talk with you, I think you will feel it when you're at 2 meter distance. You will feel it. You can see it on the eyes. You can see it at the attitude. It's the same with languages. You will feel it if someone is interested when you're speaking his or her language. And if I don't have this feeling, if I have the feeling that someone wants to be on his or her own, I'm not doing it. I'm only doing it when I feel that there's an interaction and when
Right.
it is the right moment. So
Yeah, you're not annoying people. That's for sure. Like, you're not trying to harass people on the street. That's for sure. You only, at least in the videos, I've only seen you interact with people who are very interested in listening to you. So that's a good disclaimer to put out there, that it's not about harassing people. And I guess if you're in a restaurant or a cafe or whatever, and there's like 200 million customers, and there's only one waiter and he's flying around, if you had to use English to get your order sorted really quickly, or spend 10 minutes trying to explain it in your new 5 words of French or whatever, that's fair. The guy has a job to do. So if he's like trying to switch to English, then maybe just get it over with. You don't want to annoy people. I guess that's a good point.
yeah, of course, like if you, it's the same what you're seeing in the videos. Like, I don't want to make jokes about people, against them. I just want to make jokes with them. that's something else.
Yeah, you don't know them yet, so that's definitely the right way to do it. And I guess also, did it help your drawing business that you spoke all these languages with the tourists? Were they more happy to buy from you?
Yeah, and there were even sometimes people who recognized me from YouTube or
Wow.
you. So that's really cool. Like that's awesome. And then I'm saying sometimes, like, are you not the guy who was giving a bad comment on my YouTube channel? Say it now.
It's a good
No,
joke.
but yeah, it's really nice if people recognize you and if they like it to practice languages with you. And yeah, I think most of the people like it when you speak their language. Most of them,
Yeah, for sure.
even
It's
when it's not good. So
they appreciate you trying, and that's in general. That's also the reception I've been getting down here as well. Like people are generally happy about you
yeah,
trying. It's kind of like when I was learning Russian, I sent like one sentence to someone with a few mistakes in it probably, and she was like, "Wow, you're fluent already." It's funny how some countries are really like, you know, overexcited about it, and then you go to somewhere like Denmark, and they're like, "Oh, that's kind of nice,"
there are
they
also
kind of,
cultural differences in general. Asian people are really positive when you speak their language.
yeah,
One, because it's really hard for European people. I just know some guys from YouTube who speak Chinese fluently, just a couple. Many of them have problems with it, like me. And um, I also think it's something of the culture that they're really happy to see you. Do you've been in Thailand or
I haven't, no, I haven't, never been to Asia. That's
like you will see the big smile there and how people are inviting you. Yeah, it's really cool. Like if you're traveling, then it's an extra motivation and extra boost to learn those languages. So
yeah, for
that's
sure.
what I keep doing.
I don't think you get much out of going to Denmark with Danish, unfortunately. That's they're a little bit special in the sense that we don't understand why you're learning it, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of nice, They appreciate it, and that you can have better conversations with people, but they're not as excited about it as other countries. I guess it's similar to German also, you
Yeah.
know. They're not too excited about you speaking German either. They're like, oh, okay, das ist gut, yeah.
Actually, I met a lot of Danish people who were really surprised about the idea that I was speaking Danish because it's not a really common language.
No.
German is close to Dutch, and it's a really common language for polyglots who are learning it.
But
And I
did
also
you
had it at
meet the
school
Danish
with
people
Danish
in Denmark or in the Netherlands?
in the Netherlands.
Yeah, because when they travel, they get really excited about it. It's
Yeah,
like ridiculous. It's like I once went to the Caribbean with my family when I was really young, and at the hotel when we arrived, there was like another Danish couple, and we're
yeah,
like, "Wow, Danish! Oh, whoa, we're connected." We're like,
yeah,
we're best friends now. And I was like, we don't know these people at all. They could be serial killers for all we know. But just because they were Danish and abroad, they're like instant friends. So I think something happens when Danish people go abroad. They get like, I don't know, they reawaken their national pride or something. But if you go to Denmark, definitely, I think most people will agree that they'll just switch to English. And if you try to speak Danish, some people will say, "Oh, that's kind of nice," but they don't really get excited about it, I think.
I've never
Uh,
been there, but maybe later I will find it out by myself.
Yeah, you should go if
So
you want to go to the home of the Tuborgs or the Carlsbergs and you know
yeah,
uh, get drink beer with the Danish people. That would be a very fun video because Danish people can drink a lot,
yeah.
and you could have a long video there about speaking Danish while drunk. Maybe your pronunciation would get better too. I don't know.
Alright, I hope my videos are not getting crazier.
You'd be like the crazy polyglot who's like
But
speaking
we have a
language.
serious interview now, so that's really cool. I really appreciate it.
That's true. Yeah, serious mode on all the time. No, it's just the podcast is basically like you try to do in your videos. The podcast that I try to do is basically a representation of real life. Like if I went to the Netherlands and I sat in front of you over a beer, this is what we would be talking about, you know?
Yeah,
So that's what I try to do with the podcast, and try to inspire and motivate, hopefully also.
that's really cool. But
So
that you keep so close to yourself and to others, that's a really good quality.
yeah, I love that, and a lot of people send me emails like, "Really love this," or comments, "I really love this episode. This was really useful." Which really is quite incredible, because you're in a way changing the lives of others just by talking to people. It's crazy, but I even had someone send me a handwritten letter, which I was really
Wow.
appreciated about. It's like, wow, my mom hasn't sent me anything. I lived here for 6 months, but I got a
You
letter
was a
from.
good son
Oh,
for her, or you was a really annoying guy?
I
Maybe you're
think,
really nice to us, but to your mom not. You ever bought her a nice present, or?
yeah, I'm a good son, I think, and she always loved me. It's not that.
Everyone says that about herself.
That's maybe true. Maybe I should go back to the therapy idea again.
You look really shy, but in real life, you're maybe the biggest jerk. No,
No,
I
no,
think
no.
you're a cool guy. I like what you're doing, and I can only say keep up the good work. And
Appreciate it, and
it's
I
really
hope.
cool to inspire other people. And I wish that your channel was bigger than it is now, because like
Well,
I don't like the commercial channels too much. I really like the stuff of people who are really close to their real lives, and they're not trying to get a lot of views or subscribers just only because they know they get a lot of views because of that. But
well, I appreciate you saying
yeah,
that, but also it's mainly an audio podcast. This video thing is quite new, and I put the videos basically on YouTube for people to get something extra if they want to watch the interviews. Some people like watching more than listening,
mhm.
but the podcast has always been, an audio podcast. So that's the reason my YouTube channel is not bigger than it is. Well, I haven't really made any videos, like I said earlier to you, that I think YouTube 5 years ago or something, you could get away with just putting up videos and just not caring about editing, or like that the videos were actually good, because everyone was doing it. But now there's such a huge quality control on YouTube, and if you go on YouTube, there are so many professional studios recording with $10,000 cameras and professional editing. And
Yeah,
I'm not saying you need to do that, but I think that to do well on YouTube now, I think you need to have at least a minimum of editing so the videos actually are interesting. Because if you just took your camera to the streets of Amsterdam and recorded an hour of footage and put that on YouTube, I would say no, that's terrible. But if you take a few hours of footage, or you record all the time, so you have a lot of footage, and you edit that down into a nice little video that shows the highlights and it's interesting, not too long, then that's the kind of
I hope you're doing the same, because I think people don't want to hear an hour of my bullshit. So
right. I mean, it could be interesting in its own way, right? But that's
yeah,
actually why, and obviously, I can't say that if I did that kind of videos that I would get thousands of subscribers. I don't think so, but I just haven't done any of those videos yet. My videos are like vlogs talking about life and actual fluency, or interviews like this. So I haven't done any interesting YouTube style videos where I edit and stuff, but it'll probably come this year. I think people like yourself have inspired me to, and also Chris Huff, my friend, who's doing some Tokipona videos and stuff like that. You guys are really pushing me to get into the video format more. Also Lindsay Dow, now that we're shouting out, she's done some hilarious videos that are very well made. So I hope to get into that, and provide people with quality. Maybe I could even show like practicing Hungarian or other languages in Budapest. I could bring my phone and just record it. How would that be for overcoming your fears?
yeah. I think you just should do it, man. Just try it.
Just try it, yeah.
You can do it.
Just try it, he says. Just try it, he says.
You can
All
also
right.
lend my hat, maybe. Maybe that helps.
Does the hat help?
Yeah, it helps.
Is it like a confidence hat, or is it like people are interested in the hat so they easier to speak to?
I feel really protected by my hat. I
Oh,
don't know
really?
why. Just my head.
That's a top tip.
Yeah.
That's a top tip. I really like your hat. It really fits with your style and in the videos as well.
The only thing what fits to my head. It's really hard to find something. So
You have a big head. Is that another polyglot? All right, Wouter. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and help motivate people and talk about your own language learning story. And I wish you the best of luck in bringing all those languages to the level you want them to be at.
all right. Thanks, mate. It was really nice to meet you. I hope we can meet one day, and
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
think we can be good friends. I don't have a lot of friends, but you could be one.
Definitely. I'd love to be your friend. I mean, I already feel a connection. We're here. So
Wow, that's really cool.
so what was I about to say? Oh yeah, for people who are interested in your channel, they can go check it out. And if I can't pronounce it, then people most likely can't spell it. But if you search for Dutch polyglot speaks 18 languages with tourists, then your video will definitely show up. And otherwise, I put all the links and the information on Actual Fluency /316. So that's why you can get the show notes and all the links and everything we've been talking about here. So so go check it out. Go check out his channel, how he speaks with 10 beers, how good his foreign languages are. It's quite fun to see.
I hope people still want to drink a beer with me.
Oh, maybe, I mean, when the channel grows, maybe people will buy you beers all the time. It might be a secondary advantage, right? So,
Yeah.
no, but anyway, really cool. And if you ever make it to Berlin for the Polyglot Gathering, I'd love to connect, say hi. Otherwise, if you're ever in Budapest, let me know, and we can go for a beer and some languages.
We definitely do that, man. Cheers.
All right, cool. See you later.
See you later.
Thank you for listening to the Actual Fluency Podcast.